We are here today to talk to you a little bit about the opportunities with Ayurveda that you could consider after potentially studying with us for the 500-hour professional Ayurveda program. It's an exciting time for our school and the students because a lot of them are getting out into the world and beginning to share with clients, offering workshops, doing community care with kids or mothers or families. And so we wanted to let you know what you could consider in your own practice and becoming specialized in the field of Ayurveda. So welcome.
Hello everyone. So I hope you all are getting ready for the festive season which is coming. So let's see what you can do with this course, right, which we are offering. And just before the webinar started, me and Carly were discussing about what previous students are doing who have completed this course, and she was mentioning it to me that many of them are actively involved in different types of opportunities, few of them which I will be discussing in the webinar. So there is so much which you can do, and so many opportunities, so many options, and so many directions in which you can go after completing this course. Okay, so let's start seeing what can be done, okay, or which paths this course can open. Okay, so like I always say, for any healer, right, who is studying or educating or would like to practice the healthcare sciences, irrespective of what specialty you are learning, okay, we work for only one aim, and which is health, right? So basic our goal is always going to be how to bring health in society, in our family, and in ourself as well. So depending on this health and different parts of the health, okay, there can be opportunities created after doing this course. So Ayurveda science is written for basically two objectives: for preventing diseases, maintaining health, and if at all somebody gets sick, then treating them or managing their diseases with Ayurveda. Okay. So see, these two goals itself, or these two goals themselves open two paths, right? So as a practitioner, you can focus yourself only in the field of preventive healthcare, which is a very big field according to Ayurveda. A lot of guidance is available in Ayurvedic classical texts where they have educated us in how to live life, right? So lifestyle management, diet management, selection of diet, seasonal regimens, preconception care. So there are so many aspects of preventive healthcare which are explained in as detail as the disease care is explained, right? So choosing the path of preventive healthcare is a big opportunity after learning Ayurveda. And believe me, this is a field where the you can see the growth is, you can see the requirement is, and you can see the interest also, right? In the community, people are looking for the guidance for living healthy life rather than always just taking care of diseases. So you can support people with rejuvenation, with immunity building, with detox treatments, with uh, with seasonal protocols, with diet regimes, with meal plannings, with childhood nourishment or nutrition, with the old age care. So many opportunities are there in this field, which some of them I will be explaining little more. And then, of course, the biggest sector of healthcare is treating the diseases. So Ayurveda is a complete healthcare science, and if you study it, you can very well treat acute and minor cases like sinusitis or acute fever, to even most chronic and most difficult to treat conditions, okay, like cancer. So you can extend your scope of practice from any minor to any major illness after studying Ayurveda. Okay, now let us go ahead and see some more opportunities. So in Ayurveda, they believe that health includes well-being in the physical, spiritual, psychological, okay, and even behavioral, okay, well-being. So summation of all of this is considered health, right? So again, each and every sector of well-being can open a new channel for you to work in. You can work on physical aspect of human existence, mind or psychological health, okay, and you can support a basic spiritual health. Actually, it is not spiritual. I have always said this, that soul is an entity which they believed is never becoming part of the diseases. Okay, but you can provide a path to them with the help of which mind and body together will not get involved into pathologies. That's what I would call spiritual. Spiritual does not mean actually soul related. Okay, so today's topic is not to explain all of that. If we get some time, I will, in some future webinar, I'll explain you what Ayurveda thinks about soul and its existence. But like I said, you can become, you can specialize yourself in the psychological care, right, disease care and preventive health care of the psychological illnesses, physical health. Okay, and then, like I said, the method of living life which can help getting rid of physical and psychological illnesses as well. Okay, so now, the how can we use the knowledge of Ayurveda, right? So when you study Ayurveda, and our course is quite expansive, right, we it can be taken by anybody who wants to start their journey in Ayurveda, or those who have already completed bigger courses in Ayurveda as well. Because being a physician, I always try to focus on clinical aspect of the knowledge which we study in the classes, right? So my focus is always usually how to implement the knowledge from the scripts into our day to day life. Okay, so those who have already taken courses but still find, or still are struggling to implement their knowledge into their clinical practice, are the best suitable candidate, along with absolutely freshers which has no idea about Ayurveda. Okay, so both can join the courses and both will get benefit from it, right? So like I said, the biggest, what can I say? I always believe this in my own life as well. The biggest advantage of learning healthcare science is having an access to the knowledge which can first make us healthy, right? So of course your job is to treat others and make them healthy, but of course it begins with our own health as well, right? So we can start implementing this knowledge from a very early part of the course, as early as few lectures, around 4 to 5, into your daily routine, for maintaining your own health, improving your own health, implementing this principle in taking care of your family and friends, right? So self care is a is a biggest advantage of learning Ayurveda, right? And then of course, some of you who are looking for pursuing as a career can also come into its clinical practice. But this course is also open for only those people who would like to learn Ayurveda for their own self care and the family care. In the previous few batches, we do have certain students who have learned this course only for their self care. I think Carly can talk about them. Carly, could you a little bit explain how these people are finding it helpful?
Definitely. Well, the main point throughout the course is that we don't have you do a lot of homework, but it is a lot of self-practice. And so your homework is implementing the knowledge into daily practice. And so the students that have done it for the purpose of self-care have benefited from that along the way. And a lot of them had been previous clients of mine. And in a practice setting, working with them, if I'm only speaking to them for a short call once a month or every other week, we're not being able to dive into the knowledge. So the knowledge side of it and understanding the scriptures really supported what we were doing in the practice, because they understood what was happening and it gave a greater drive to do it. And then they found the structure doing it. And what was funny to me is that, yes, some people did sign up for the course only for self-care and they're doing that. But what they're also finding now is that so many people are asking them questions about what they're doing that they're starting to share it with their community anyway. And they're almost being forced into the sharing practice of Ayurveda, whether it's working with clients or supporting through workshops or even family sharing, because they are becoming so clear with their health and very knowledgeable, and it's very obvious to the people around them. So you may start the course thinking you're just doing it to take care of yourself and your family, and in the end find out that you've got a lot to share with other people anyway. And it's a really natural process, but some of the newbies in the beginning felt overwhelmed a little bit, and I kept telling them, you won't. And I think now they're seeing how much they know because of really practicing it themselves. And that's one part of this program that I value so much compared to my own previous educations. And I continue studying along with you guys. I participate supporting the program, but I come into it with an empty cup every time. I take notes, I follow along because there are so many little pieces that I feel like I can still pick up on. And I was missing some of the structure, like she was saying. So I've gone through formal training with other schools, but there were for me some missing parts in the application because I didn't know exactly where it was coming from. And this course has helped me in my own practice and my own self to be able to put it into a structure that makes it easier to talk about with clients or easier to implement with my family. So, like she said, whether you've studied Ayurveda before or you're completely new, the class becomes dynamic because we've got all groups of people there. And the question and answer and the communication and sharing the practices that you're doing is what's going to support the learning process.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right. So for self-care and for your practice, for both these purposes, this course is extremely valuable. Like I said, you can start with your self and family care right from the very beginning of this course. Like I said, after completing even 4 to 5 lectures, you will see that how this knowledge is very logical and very easily implemented into your day-to-day life. So I always say this, that those who are learning Ayurveda, for them, their laboratories are their own bodies, and their hospitals are their own families and friends, right? So nobody needs to attend like a medical school or to see hospitals to implement Ayurveda, because Ayurveda itself means science of life, right? So we can implement it in our day-to-day life, and we can see major changes after changing minor things into our life, right? So that all you can learn during this course, which can very easily implement into your day-to-day life. Okay, now what Ayurveda is and how it looks into any treatment procedure. Okay, what it involves. Okay, when we say that we are taking Ayurvedic treatments or we are recommending Ayurvedic treatments. Okay, so if you look into Ayurveda on a broader way, Ayurveda has very strategically explained, scientifically explained herbal care, different types of therapies, detox methods, diets and regimens, lifestyle changes as a part of its treatment. You don't need to get specialized in all of it, though we are going to learn all of it. Okay, but you can either use all of them or you can become specialized in only one thing as well. Like, let's take an example of detox. So very simple dietary detox, herbal detox is there in Ayurvedic classics. So many of my students from different countries are getting specialized only in supporting diet plans, okay, which can work as a detox method, right? So different therapies, internally and externally implemented therapies are there in Ayurveda, which can open a complete new set of the practice into your clinical methods, right? So for practicing Ayurvedic therapies, you need 1 minute. So which you can very easily practice into a very basic setup, which I will be explaining little bit, that how Ayurveda is advantageous than any other healthcare science when it comes to settling an Ayurvedic practice center. Okay, so therapies, learning about therapies, their recommendations, educating people for doing their self therapies or doing the therapies as a therapist on your clients. All things are possible with learning Ayurveda. Therapies are extremely simple and non-complicated to follow. They are not at all traumatic. They are not at all invasive. They are not at all painful. Okay, none of the Ayurvedic treatments garden मध्ये बघ बरं. None of the Ayurvedic treatments involve use of any kind of instrument. Most of them are done absolutely with your bare hands or food like things. Okay, so it's absolutely safe to practice. Okay, like I said, either you can teach people how to do it on themselves or you can do it as a therapist. Okay, and you will see how these treatments and these therapy exist for some thousands of years, right? So of course they do have a lot of healing ability. That's why they have sustained in all these difficult years of Indian history, where so many people tried to establish their own healthcare science. But Ayurveda never lost its charm, and it is still practiced in the same way like it used to be in practice for thousands of years ago, right? So these therapies can heal very chronic changes, and it can be recommended in acute conditions as well, right? So therapies can be practiced very easily. We do teach these therapy in person, right? So there is a part of internship where I will be teaching all of you this in person, right? And Carly will be always there to support you in throughout this journey. Okay, so not only theoretically, but you will be learning all of these therapies even in person as well. So what do you need, how to implement it, up to which extent you can do it, everything will be taken care of during the course. Okay, then Ayurvedic herbs are extremely versatile in nature. So they are detoxifying, they are cleansing, nourishing, rejuvenating, cosmetically used. So Ayurvedic herbs do have many effect, right, and actions, and depending on that you can use them. They are food like, so if you take basic care, it can be very easily practiced. Many of the herbs are
Your sound cut out.
like I was mentioning, the Ayurvedic herbs are extremely versatile, and there are so many perspective and objective for which you can use Ayurvedic herbs, and they are very simple to use because most of them are food like, right? So we will be I will be explaining everything about the herbs. So we do discuss around 50 herbs in the class, okay, and how to use them. Many of them are spices also, which people know as a spices, but in Ayurveda very scientific use of these spices for clinical use is explained. Along with that, there are so many other herbs as well, which are very healing in ability, right? So herbs are of course very important part of Ayurvedic treatments, and we will be learning this topic as well in detail. Okay, then see, the last two are the biggest two. What does it mean? See, Ayurveda believes that if you are living a good life, healthy lifestyle, and eating good diet, you don't need any kind of treatment. And if the diet and lifestyle is not correct, then any type of treatment won't be good enough for you, right? What does this mean? That diet and lifestyle plays a very important role in preventive healthcare as well, and in disease care as well. That's why these two topics are explained extensively in Ayurvedic classical books, right? How to live life, how to change your lifestyle when the season changes, how you should plan your day, how you should plan your meals, what when to have meals, what kind of water you should drink, how much water you should drink, then how many meals you should take, right? What should be the portion size? So how many meals are there for different types of digestive system, right? So digestion is considered as a gateway of human health or diseases. That's why digestion is explained in a very detailed way in Ayurveda. And I always believe that is an advantage which we have after learning Ayurveda, which no other science explain in that extensiveness like Ayurveda explains, not even Western medicine, right? Believe me, we do have studied Western medicine in our professional colleges, in medical colleges, but the kind of understanding Ayurveda has for digestion is nowhere in any other healthcare science, right? And for keeping digestion healthy, they have brought up all of these different methods of keeping the digestion healthy, which includes daily regimen, night regimen, evening regimens, detox plans, seasonal changes, changing of your food when the season changes, changing of your exercise pattern when the season changes. So all of these things are extremely interesting, and there is huge interest in community to learn all of these things, right? So like I said, you can actually become specialized in managing diets for different types of digestive systems, different types of people struggling with different diseases, right? So it's a very huge sector of practice, and it also has application in preventive healthcare and disease care. Okay, so that we learn in this course in the module 3, the last module, where we learn everything about the treatments. Okay, now so now there are some other things which can be very, I think in the last webinar I have spoken about it. Along with all of these, there is a very beautiful sector of practicing Ayurveda as a counselor, right? But not only health counselor, but there are so many other types of things which you can select, like relationship counselor, right? Relationship of any two people, okay, you can improve if you teach them what they are, how they are, and why they are reacting in a specific way, right? I always believe that when you understand somebody, you don't judge them all the time, right? And you can help them in so that they will not start judging all the time, but understanding people around them, right? So counseling of any relationship can be very nicely done with Ayurveda, because they have understood that individuals are different and they are going to react to the same event separately, right? So that is a very, very interesting field. I always feel it's very fascinating to help people to live less stressful life, right? Because all of these anger, um, or arguments which indirectly affect our hormonal system and then eventually digestion and health can be minimized a lot if we make people aware about their existence and their specific way of reacting towards the things. Okay, then another sector is health counselor. What does it mean? People don't know even whether they are healthy or not, right? So understanding their own health level and how, what would be the ways to expand it, enhance it, is also very interesting topic in Ayurveda. So Ayurveda has 8 divisions, and a complete division is dedicated to only preventive healthcare, right? So by different methods like rejuvenation, detox plants, rejuvenating food, treatments, lifestyles, herbs, herbal products. So many things they found out which can extend the, or which can expand the scope of health, right? And you can become specialized in that. We do teach rejuvenation, right? And immunity boosting things in this course. What increases the immunity, what decreases the immunity, what foods are helpful, what foods are not helpful. So everything we discussed. What are the herbs which you can recommend for promoting the immunity, longevity, and disease protection. Okay, so you can become specialized in that as well. You can become immunity specialist, detox specialist, chronic support, chronic illness support. See, Ayurveda has always explained a lot about chronic diseases, right? And chronic disease, when you are managing a chronic disease, why Ayurveda is a very good tool to manage chronic disease? Because when somebody is struggling with chronic disease, it is not only about reversing that disease, but as this disease is staying in body for a long period of time, it does create an impact on the other associated systems, on mind, on immunity, on tissue strength. So you need to manage a complete individual rather than managing only chronic disease. And whenever it comes to holistic understanding of an individual, Ayurveda is the gold standard for doing that, right? So that's why chronic support worker or chronic illness support worker is a very, very good field to specialize in after Ayurveda, right? So avoiding the recurrence, relapses, re-establishing the strength after treating the disease is also very important part of Ayurveda, right? And rejuvenation is the demand of the time, right? Everybody wants to rejuvenate their body, and this time is correct, because so many of the things we have seen in the last couple of years that we all want to go back to the pre-corona times, right? Not only financially but physically, psychologically, everything, right? So jokes apart, but so many of us have felt so many challenges. Our bodies have faced, our minds have faced a very challenging phase. And if you want to erase these 2 years clinically, right, or we need to take care of ourselves in a specific way. And see, before thousands of years, they understood that these kinds of epidemics, these kinds of illnesses can reduce the strength. Even doing day-to-day life, taking care of people around us in day-to-day life, does result into some decay, which they have believed to be replenished or healed on the same day. That's why there are so many daily regimen therapies which they have recommended, which are actually rejuvenating. Because the science of Ayurveda was written with the aim of living 100 years disease free life, right? So that's why so many of the things which they have said are for stopping, blocking, or for reversing the aging, right? So not only skin, but all the system as well, all seven tissues of human body as well. Okay, so rejuvenation is also very interesting topic to specialize in. So this is a slide which I would like to talk a little bit. See, I myself have gone through all of these. So each and every Ayurvedic practitioner which you see now having established centers, they all have gone through these phases, right? And believe me, if I can do it, you all can do it. Everybody can do it, right? From starting from scratch, nothing, to a sophisticated way of living life, right, is possible with Ayurveda, right? So you can work from home, you can work online completely. I see 70% of my patients online nowadays. So it is not needed that you need to go to some kind of Himalaya and for following Ayurveda, right? It's not needed. You can educate your client to start living healthy, happy, and disease-free life from wherever you are. For him, wherever he is or she is, to follow these guidelines, things are extremely non-complicated. So you basically will not need anything than a computer or a phone to start guiding people about implementing this knowledge into their day-to-day life, right? You don't need to buy any instrument, you don't need to buy anything. Okay, nothing. If you have two chairs or if you have a space where you can all sit down, you can start working this knowledge on this knowledge, right? You need extremely minimum resources, almost nothing. Women can choose their working hours, which is a very big advantage. So with taking care of the small children, you can practice Ayurveda. I have started practicing as early as after 19 days of my own labor, right? So I can, whatever I have put on the slide is all my self experience as well, right? So I am still taking care of my two young daughters, right, which are not young, small daughters, which always runs around me, but I can still, of course, children are part of our life, right? So some kind of attention they also want. But even these difficult phases of our life as well, Ayurveda can provide you a method to start work again, and in a very what can you say, satisfying way of work, right? Then you can have scope to expand your healthcare center in the therapy center with a minimum setup required. So Carly has her center. I think she can help you how to establish a center if at all you are interested. She will tell you how minimum resources you need for doing Ayurvedic treatments or for making Ayurvedic medicines. You need only three things: one spatula, a pan, and a source of heat, right? There is no other huge machineries you need to make Ayurvedic medicines or to have a huge thousands of square feet center for practicing Ayurvedic therapies, right? So as good as one table or a chair is good enough to begin your practice with, and slowly of course you can expand it to a bigger level, right? You can, if you are an healthcare practitioner of any other medical specialty, you can include Ayurvedic methods into your own practice. So you can integrate Ayurveda with any other healthcare system. Okay, you may recommend herb, you may not recommend herb, right? Herb, like I said on the slide, it is only one of the part of the treatment. So those who do not want to use any herb, recommend any herb, it is absolutely fine. There will be so many other ways by which you can recommend Ayurvedic treatments, right? You can eventually become educator and teacher, like Carly is mentioning. Very early people have started designing their own workshop for their communities, right? When they are doing this course or when they have completed this course, you can prepare your own medicines. We do teach medicine making as well as a part of this course. So basically you don't need anybody after completing this course on which your practice will depend on, right? So you can design your therapies, you can design your formulas, you can make your medicines, you can have your own range of Ayurvedic herbal products which are absolutely chemical free, 100% natural, involving nothing than herbs and food like substances. Okay, so like I said, there are so many benefits and very minimal requirements for practicing Ayurveda. And I thought I should share all of this with you, with my own experience, how my practice has evolved eventually in my own career as well. And when I see around what kind of motivation it can create is amazing. So if you still feel that you need to reach out, that what actually this course is, please reach out to Carly. We have recorded various webinars in which we have explained about the different sectors of this course, and you would understand what you're going to learn. It has a unique structuring of online classes and in-person training. So it's one of the best courses which any medical institute, any school can offer, right? So please reach out to us if you need to know anything, no anything more. Carly, would you like to add anything? I think I have completed from my side.
Yeah, thank you. And I feel like this is actually a really great presentation for the students also who have completed the course. So I will recommend that you watch it. And if you feel lost at all in practice, to go back to this video because it may give you some clarity and inspiration of what you have and what you can share. And we're really excited about continuing. So if you would like to sign up for the next batch, you can reach out to me. And if you know anyone who has studied Ayurveda or might be interested in studying Ayurveda, you can pass this along to them. So we thank you all for your time and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you all. Hope to see you all in the classes. Bye bye for now.
Thank you.